Hello again, boys and girls and grown-ups. Miss Carolyn here on our Wednesday walk, and we have a special treat for you today. We are taking a look at the continent of Africa, which really has really old human remains. So I tried to find a place in central Pennsylvania that has really old things, and I think I found one. We are at Bilger's Rocks. It's in kind of rural Clearfield County, and we're going to join our tour guide Bill here for a walk through the rocks, and then we're going to learn some interesting facts and head to the education center, and we'll tell you about how you can come visit someday. It's all here and it's all available for you, so come on. All right, so we're starting to enter, and here is my friend and yours, Bill, who is a tour guide here, and we're going to take an adventure together through this part of the walking tour, and it's all volunteers who help develop and keep this beautiful.
Yes, it is.
That's wonderful. Well, start us out. Are we anywhere special right now?
Well, we're at post number one. Post number one is to mark the place where the giant carving is. It's about a 6-foot diameter carving of North and South America. It was done 100 years ago by a local man, John W. Larson. He was from Grampian, and he put his initials down there at the bottom of the carving. He said, "The world is looking to us." Now, it was after World War I, and there was a lot of damage done by the war, and the rest of the world needed some help in getting things fixed, by his attitude. That was his thinking.
Bill, even though Mr. Larson did this work back in the 20s, we don't want people to deface these beautiful and very old rocks, right?
That's right. We don't want anyone to do any additional carving or spraying graffiti in the rocks.
It tends to wear them down, right, and deteriorate them faster.
Well, yes, it does, and it's not the sort of thing that we appreciate seeing,
Okay, as we start out, Bill is warning everybody and making sure everybody knows they wear the right footwear, and boys and girls always come with a grown-up, right, Bill?
That's true, definitely. Yes, we don't want children here alone.
All right, I'm going to follow you, but you take a first couple steps there. Let's show the boys and girls how beautiful and a little bit tricky this is, huh? So when you climb up step by step, you want to take a careful look at where you're stepping, because there's roots and there's rocks, but it is beautiful. And you know what I noticed, Bill? It's already so much cooler than out a few minutes away.
Yes, it's always cool down here in the rocks, even on the hottest summer days.
That's great. All right, we have got another feature to show, Bill.
Okay, here we have a feature we call the Bear Cave. If you go in there, it goes down a little bit at first, but it's fairly dark in there. You can work your way from down here at the bottom of the rocks clear up to the top, but it's not one of the easiest ways to do that.
Wow. It is. Is it called Bear Cave for a reason?
No.
No bears.
No bears.
We don't see bears come out in...
Well, we do see bears. Bears have come to the rocks here, and unfortunately they're a hazard. They've gotten into the garbage in the past, but we have that pretty well secured now. A couple of years ago, that was very clear to see that.
Wow. So, again, this is to that Bear Cave entrance, and somebody carved a skull and crossbones. Boys and girls, grown-ups, can you see that? It's covered in moss, like Bill says. It's taken over, but there it is. You can explore this, too, when you come. Here we go through more of the walking tour. Whoa. And we're at another post, number 2. Again, the volunteers have put these in for all the folks who come to travel. Now, there's an arrow sign there, but what else is there, Bill?
There's a carving of a hand up above with the finger pointing to the right. A lot of monoliths here, monolithic rocks.
Monolithic. Can you tell us what that means?
That means freestanding large boulders.
Okay.
And people will come and spend, hours climbing one after another.
So here we're walking just along a big rock formation here, and you can get up close and personal if you come on out here and study these very, very old rocks. And we're going to learn from the historian in just a little bit about how old these actually are. It's amazing, boys and girls, and it's right here, close to our backyards. All right, there's some narrow passageways. Jim's taking us on a tricky expedition here. Oh, I can feel a burst of cold air as I walk through this area. It's a little bit of a climb, but it's not too tough for all the strong boys and girls out there.
Chambers in the rocks we refer to as rooms. And right here now we're in the largest room. It's called the dining room. Some people say it's the devil's dining room because it's underground. It's lower than the regular ground level.
Wow. It is beautiful, and it's covered, it has 4 sides to it. There I made a complete circle, and I guess it's got a table too. You could sit here and have a picnic.
Here we have the lion figure. It was carved a long time ago and it's covered with moss. But if you look closely, you can still see its eyes, nose, and mouth, and its head, and its legs down below. And of course, back behind its head, it has its mane.
That's beautiful. Do you have a book, or is there something at the Education Center that talks about all the artists that are back in here?
For the most part, I don't believe anyone knows.
Now here's another place that you can kind of go. I wouldn't recommend going down there, but you can certainly take a look. Almost another bear cave there. There's a lot of places to play hide and seek in here if you're careful.
That's for sure.
Well, I'm actually getting wet a little bit because I'm touching the sides just by accident, but I'm able to walk through and the camera is still able to get through here. Oh, it's so cool and comfortable. It's natural air conditioning. Oh boy, here comes the tight squeeze, boys and girls. Oh boy.
This is what is known as the dungeon,
Oh.
or the devil's dungeon, since it's, below the ground level. And the reason it's called the dungeon is because there's only one way in and out.
Okay. Be careful when you're back in here and make sure you bring grown-ups with you. This is what we just came through, boys and girls, with our camera and with our friend Bill. We're going on to the next part. Oh boy, coming out of the dungeon and turning the corner. Oh.
Into the kitchen.
Oh, the kitchen. Isn't that lovely?
Now there is a way out of the kitchen if
There
you're
is?
if you're young and agile
And what's that?
and thin.
And thin?
There's a really narrow passageway
Oh
which
boy.
leads up to the top, actually, top of the rocks.
Oh my goodness. Wow, can you see how skinny that is, boys and girls? I don't know. I'm gonna shoot Bill. There you go. Bill's going through just to show you. And then I'm gonna turn the camera off and safely get through. Cool.
Sloping rocks. People like to climb up them.
That's pretty easy, right? And safe if you do it with a grown-up. I see that.
Well, it's harder to get back down than it is to go up, but a lot of people like to do it.
Okay.
Here we have this giant ancient hemlock tree. Nobody knows how old it is, but if you look up there at a certain height, the lightning struck or the wind blew it out, but that didn't stop it from growing.
That is one big tree. Once again, Mother Nature can find her way if she wishes, huh? Among the rocks. Those are all the root system for that tree. Wow. Almost looks like a snake slithering down some of those. What do you think, boys and girls? It just keeps going and going. Bill, do you know how long you can spend out here to find all the different parts?
Oh, you could spend days
Really?
finding things. Yeah.
Wow.
There are
And
some
not-
areas.
And
yeah.
not repeat.
That's right, yeah. I was trying to cover a certain area, trying to go through all the passageways one time, and the next time when I came back, I didn't know if I had been in them before.
Wow.
You know, there's either this way or that way, so.
Okay. Sometimes you just have to pick a route and be careful.
Yes, definitely, be careful. Here we have the giant boulder. It's amazing how it hangs there over that gap. It's hardly supported on the left side, but it somehow stays there.
Wow. That's all I can say, boys and girls. You gotta come see this someday.
How do you like this giant taproot?
Wow. How did that happen, Bill?
Isn't that something? That tree shot that root down here to get nourishment.
There it is. Okay, we're at a place we're not going to go in, but you're going to show us, Bill, but some brave people might be able to do.
Okay, this is the entrance to the ice cave. You go back in here, and you can see some people say it's like teeth overhead before it's covered over. And when it's underground, you can walk upright for about 8 feet, and then you have to turn to the right and crawl.
Oh.
And it's totally dark in there, so you really do need to have a light.
Mm-hmm. That's for the more advanced people that come to the rocks here.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes, you do. We are underneath that big rock we just showed you, so Bill's going to show us how to do it safely. Oh, that's not too big. And I bet little boys and girls can get there without ducking, but moms and dads probably need a little help.
All right, when you get up here on top, a lot of people like to walk fairly close, not too close to the edge, where you can look down and see the views below.
Oh, the places we just were in.
Actually, yes.
Cool. All right. It's definitely lighter up here and a little bit more even and a little wider to walk on.
People like to walk out around onto the overhang.
With grown-ups. Or only grown-ups, boys and girls. This could be dangerous. That moss can get slippery too. You got to be careful.
And another thing that I tell the kids when they're here is don't run when you're up here because there are holes.
That's right. Here's one coming up. And like we said, it could get slippery. Even these leaves can get slippery, and there is a lot of moisture. So it's beautiful to look, but you have to be safe. We don't want anything to happen.
And right here, it's 20 feet straight down.
Whoa! Whoa! Be careful.
That's the exit from the ice cave.
Oh, so if you're brave enough, you would come out here.
You come out here and you climb up on top here where we're standing.
Again, I would recommend that for older, more advanced folks. But once you're out on top, you get to see a beautiful and hear some beautiful sounds too.
You have to be careful. It's 40 feet down here.
40 feet down. Here we're looking at a rock that's kind of positioned between these two trees. So I am not going to go up on it because I think that's unsafe, but I want to show you, and I'm pulling my camera out so you can kind of see how far down that is, but still trying to be safe too, boys and girls. So this is the entrance to the ice cave, and remember Bill told us about those teeth. There are the teeth rocks. And here it goes.
Here's a view of the kitchen from above.
Remember the kitchen, boys and girls. Now we're looking at it very safely at a distance, looking down in there. That's where we were walking. There's the dungeon. And remember that tight squeeze we walked through. I'll try to walk above it now, and you can see. It doesn't look that narrow coming from this view, but it was pretty tight in there and nice and cool. So this reminds us of a movie scene, Bill. What are we seeing here?
Yes, it's the movie scene in The Lion King.
Okay.
Where, is it
Simba or baby?
Simba
I
holds
think.
the baby, and there's the point.
What are we trying to do here again, Bill?
Well, we're trying to get the chestnut trees back to where they used to be about 120 years ago, when there were chestnut trees all over the forests. And there's been a hybrid tree produced, which the hope is that it will start to grow wild in the forests.
There you go, and this place is doing its part. I like how Bilger's Rocks, a place where everyone can explore. That's a good theme, boys and girls. When you think back to when you were a little boy, you said that's what got you hooked to keep coming back, right?
Right. And I learned you can read the rocks, just like you can a book. And that's something you can learn to do. You can learn to read the book. It's very important. And what I say, I want them to understand, these rocks are not here because of glaciers. There was never glaciers here. These rocks are much older than glaciers.
Welcome to the Education Center, and come along with me. Into this room, we have a virtual tour of Bilger's Rocks that shows the rocks through all 4 seasons. And it's so interesting when you see the ones like right now, which have the snow on the rocks, how green the moss still is.
Yes, boys and girls, can you see that? This was taken during the winter with that snow on top. How pretty.
How cool is that? Okay, and down below in this case are artifacts. There was a sawmill here on the property, and these are all things that people have found. If you look really close, there's a Civil War general's button, there's suspenders, a broken key.
And that's the more recent history here. We've learned from Terry how old the rocks are, but this is amazing.
On this side are arrowheads that have been found on the property. So that would go back to, maybe not as far as Terry said, but Midway.
Boys and girls, these are really old, and they were used by the folks who first inhabited, at least the humans who inhabited it here. So our friends at Bilger's Rocks, we have had a glorious time looking at all the beautiful rocks and so much more here. So with that, we want to say goodbye and wave a goodbye to all our friends and neighbors. We hope that they'll come out and visit you someday real soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That's awesome.
Come see us.
Yes.
One more thing, boys and girls and grown-ups, make sure when you visit places like Bilger's Rocks and the other places that we walk over the summer that you leave everything the way you had when it came. We want to make sure we don't leave any garbage behind, and I'm carrying along my special wpsu compass and thermometer and light and warning whistle just in case. So you want to pack your backpack full of all sorts of good things, and your moms and dads and grown-ups can help you with that. Hope you have a great day. Bye.